Oh, thank you.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Our meetings are neutral ground, a place to hear and be heard. The Board of Commissioners is here to represent everyone in Calne, and we strive to be sure our decisions address the needs of all. We're all in this together. Just a reminder, only questions or statements regarding an agenda item will be entertained under citizens to be heard at the top of the meeting. All other matters will be recognized during public comment at the end of the meeting. It's a Thanksgiving homecoming. The Historical Commission and Parks and Rec are planning a preview event to celebrate the new barn roof and driveway at historic Spackman Farm and to create awareness of what still needs to be done. The event is Saturday, November 19th at 3:30 p.m. There will be speakers and refreshments. It is open to the public, but RSVPs are requested so that we can have enough chairs and, most importantly, refreshments. You can RSVP to me at the township, mevans@calnetownship.org. These troubling times. 10 days ago, the Calne Township Police Department and Chester County's prosecutor's office announced the arrest of a suspect for the terroristic threats made against Cash. The suspect was charged with multiple felonies, and I, for one, was able to breathe again, but sadly, that was not the end of it. The unseen mental trauma suffered by our children who have been literally trapped by threats of violence are creating a cycle of fear that will lead to more outrageous behavior. They deserve better than us, as do their parents, or teachers, administrators, or police department and first responders. Ultimately, our kids learn from our behaviors. The adults in the room need to stop behaving like adolescents and stop feeding the incubator of hate. Let's be kind to each other. Let's start being positive powers of example for our kids. Let's give peace and love a chance while our children still have a chance. Calne Township is open for business. Get the word out. Nothing's ever perfect, but it's our township, our community, our home. We can all be a part of the solution by eagerly spreading the good news about where we live. Hashtag look out for Calne. Believe it or not, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Evans. Did you say refreshments?
Donuts, hot chocolate, refreshments.
I think I might attend. All right, next on the agenda is citizens to be heard. Anyone in the audience here? I do not see any hands raised. Any in the Zoom world?
Not at this time.
All right, moving on. We have Township Solicitor, Ms. Camp.
So the first thing, let me just make sure the public is aware. There was a conditional use hearing that had been scheduled for this evening for Allfill for property on Edges Mill Road. Get the exact address. 4102 Associates was the property owner, and it's 4060 Edges Mill Road. So we opened the hearing and continued it until Thursday, November 17th at 6 p.m. So the board will meet on that night for the conditional use hearing. We also have another conditional use application that we received for a daycare at 100 Rock Raymond Road, and we are scheduling that for your November 30th meeting at 6 p.m. I know there's a lot of meetings coming up, and I apologize, but the state law requires that you hold those hearings within 60 days of the receipt of the application. We did ask the applicant if they would agree to extend the time, and the answer was no. So unfortunately, we are going to have to convene on November 30th at 6 p.m. if you guys could mark your calendar books. What I'm here for tonight is a proposed motion to grant preliminary / final land development approval for the Chester County Intermediate Unit. Specifically, they're building a toddler center at the property at 1515 and 1525 East Lincoln Highway. So it's two different parcels. One is actually in the name of the Chester County School Authority, which I guess is now the CCIU, and the other one is in the name of the Coatesville Area School District. They are going to basically subdivide the property so that 0.974 acres from from the one parcel is going to be added on to the other parcel. And then they're going to build a new 3,300 square foot single-story building to be used for an early care and educational center that they refer to as the Toddler Center. The proposed development includes improvements to the existing sidewalks, the addition of some new sidewalks, a new porous paving parking lot with 30 off-street parking spaces. There is an existing trailer that they utilize, I believe, now for the Toddler Center that they're going to be tearing down. There's some brick walls they're also going to be removing. So at the end of the day, the total impervious cover on the property will be reduced by 0.3%. As I said, it's part of the CCIU's campus located on the east side of Veterans Road. The Toddler Center provides education and complete family support, parent education for high school age parents, development delay and mental health assessment referrals, early childhood education, and preschool educational programs to at-risk families. So the use currently exists today on the campus. They just want to put it into a nicer building. The plans have been reviewed by all of your consultants. So the latest review letters, Aero Engineering of October 20th, your traffic engineer Pannoni issued a letter on October 21st, and the municipal authority sewer engineer Gilmore issued a letter on September 26th. So I put a motion together that would grant the approval for the subdivision land development based on compliance with the latest review letters that I just mentioned. There are some waivers that were requested, and the engineers had no objection to them, and I'll go over those. The first one is that they wanted to combine the process to be preliminary and final as one, which we've routinely done. The second one is to allow minimal disturbance to install storm pipes and an outfall structure in riparian buffer zone 2 and 3. The third one is to allow storm drain pipes to have a minimum pipe diameter of 15 inches and a minimum pipe slope of 0.5%. The fourth one is to allow the proposed rain garden to be 15 feet from the property line instead of 50 feet. The conditions would be, again, complying with all of your consultant review letters. They had a soil scientist prepare a geotech report. So conditions 4 and 5 came specifically from the applicant's geotechnical engineer. And that's because of the fact that the property is in the carbonate geology overlay district. Ms. Kennedy, that's another example of where your current ordinance has an overlay because you have a carbonate geology throughout town. So in that specific district, there are specific regulations they have to comply with. So just as another example. But anyway, 4 and 5 are specific to if they develop sinkholes during construction, certain steps that they have to take. Condition 6 is that they have to obtain the approval from the municipal authority, do the planning module approval, and whatever capacity is needed, they'll have to deal with the municipal authority on that. They are required to enter your standard development agreement and financial security agreement and post financial security for any of your public improvements. And then the rest of the conditions are all just your boilerplate. I believe that the CCIU's engineer is participating virtually. So if anybody has specific questions on the plan or on any of the waivers, I would ask you to direct them to the engineer. Do you see Kristen, anybody on there? You do not.
T&M.
Is
T&M,
the engineer here this
Chris
evening?
Jensen.
Chris Jensen, there we go.
What? Virtual?
Raised his hand.
Hi, Mr. Jensen, can you hear? Too soon.
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, everyone.
So if anybody has any questions, again,
Yes,
Lorraine, please.
yes, Lorraine Tindaro. I checked with other people who have done this type of work. And I had a concern, why did they accept the 15 inches for minimum pipe slope at 0.5% instead of staying with the 18-inch pipe that was graded for 1%? With that, you get a 40% more flow. What's the motivation? Is it cost or what is it?
No, it's because the area that we're disturbing is so small. It's less than an acre that the full amount of the 100-year storm actually can be conveyed through that 15-inch pipe. So the minimum pipe size of 18 is an overkill pipe size for the size of the project that we're proposing.
Would the,
So
would the
we have
pipe fit
waiver.
in that area or no?
I believe it would, but we discussed with Mr. Lehman from Arrow, and he fully supports that waiver as well, because the pipe kit is still able to be maintained. And as I said, it conveys the full 100-year storm. And I don't believe your ordinance even requires that the pipe networks convey the full 100, just that the system as a whole can convey it. So
I know. We've already gone through the 100-year storm and the
Mhm.
1,000-year storm.
Yeah.
We're going toward climate change. Are people, when they're building, are they even thinking about that for the future? Or, well, if it happens, well, this is the way it
Oh, they
was built. Because
oh, they
the
should- yeah,
entire
sure.
township, we have found after these horrible storms, is that things were done under the amount that should have been done.
Well, going back to the statement about the proposed impervious, that we are spending the dollars on these expensive unit pavers for porous pavement. And when the project is done, the amount of impervious material on the site is actually less than what's out there when you include the extra acreage that the intermediate unit is purchasing from the district, the school district. So all in all, we're meeting all the ordinance requirements, including putting this pipe in to accommodate for all the storms flow, and we're reducing the impervious. So there won't be any stormwater issues there from this project. It's a small building. It's 3,300 square feet. It's the size of a residential structure.
Just to point out, I always do that. Mr. Lehman's letter, excuse me, on page 2 indicates under this waiver, it says the applicant is requesting this waiver. Arrow has no objection as the calculations demonstrate the proposed 15-inch pipes can safely convey the 100-year storm. That was his comment. So.
Thank you, Ms. Camp. I did have one question.
Thank you.
The proposed rain garden to be located 15 feet from the property line versus the 50 feet, is that just because of the size of the lot?
Yes, that's the size of the lot, the size of the development itself, and the development area in that basin, the basin itself is very small. It's lower than the adjacent property. So any potential overflow from that basin, although none of the models show it, would, because it is lower in elevation than the adjacent lot, would remain on the applicant's side of the property line. So that was what we discussed again with Mr. Lehman, and he's fully supportive of that reasoning as well.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions?
No, thank you though.
So with that, if anybody's comfortable making a motion based on the motion that I distributed, I guess it was Monday I sent it to you, or maybe Sunday.
Well, Kristen, as you know, I'll just open it up if there's
Sure.
any public comment. Yes. State your name and address, please.
Thomas Walker, 12 Fox Avenue, Brandywine Homes. 2 questions. One, the substrate you're talking about under the property is carbonation, which is sinkholes. If they encounter any problems, I mean, are they looking long term? Like if something happens, are they going to make sure that what they do doesn't affect Johnson Avenue or the residents on Johnson Avenue that are adjacent to where he's building? Because my neighborhood is right there.
Chris, I'm not sure if you heard that
Sure.
question.
I believe I heard it regarding the karst geology and potential for sinkholes. So what we're proposing again is a structure similar in size to a residential structure, and then the porous paver units are you can think about them almost as a substitute for grass. I mean, they're porous. They allow rainwater to go through them. So there's really no differences there. We have a small stormwater basin. If there's any potential sinkhole formation, it would be in that small facility, and it wouldn't migrate outside of the boundaries of what we're disturbing. And sinkholes are in this area are usually small, isolated, and are handled via pouring stone and concrete into them to stabilize them, but they don't extend beyond in areas that you aren't disturbing.
I know there's several sinkholes that are marked on, excuse me, the county maps around my area. The other thing is, you do realize you are surrounded by 3 bodies of water. The intermediate unit main building, there's water that's fenced in there. The outlet road from the school where the plumbing supply is, there is a fenced in body of water there. And right behind where you're working at is a fenced in body of water.
Yes,
So,
and one of those.
You say you have a little retention area you're going to have, but I mean, right next to where your building is water.
Correct. So one of the outflow pipe that in our design for the pipe that takes the stormwater from our site discharges to one of those receiving water bodies as is required per the ordinance. That was one of the discussions earlier about it, and the term we use is outfall at the end of the pipe to allow we're actually designing what's called a level spreader to allow the flow to just go over the land into that one particular receiving water body that you mentioned farther south, closer to Lancaster, or I'm sorry, Lincoln Highway. So it's near the maintenance building, right near the proposed facility itself.
Okay, so you'll be heading north. You'll be heading north with the water?
South.
I mean south, I'm sorry, south. Okay. All right, thank you.
Do you want
You're
to
welcome.
look at?
All right, Thomas, I'm sorry. And just out of curiosity, Chris, what is it? Did you call it a mobile home or so that's on the property now? What size is that compared
That's
to the
2,000 square feet, and the new building is 3,300 square feet.
Oh, so you're just adding about 1,300 square feet?
Correct.
Okay. And is there stormwater management present on this property now?
Right now, there is none. So this is
Okay.
actually an improvement. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, Jane.
Yes, I have a question. In regards to Dawkins Park, how close will this facility be? Are there any setbacks from the park? And will there be any natural or cosmetic barriers to separate this facility from the park?
This facility will be on a piece of land adjacent to the park. And in between the building and the park itself is proposed a playground for the early education use. So it blends in well with the natural setting of the park as well. And that there's a basketball court there and other playground type uses right there on the park. We also have landscaping proposed all along the property line, the intermediate units property line, additional trees and shrubs, and a couple of new additional trees near the intersection of Veterans Drive and Pennsylvania Avenue.
I'm sure the children from Brandywine Homes that enjoy the park there, it's going to be different for them. They will not have access to that facility that you're building. So will there be a fence or a gate or something to secure your playground from their playground?
There will be a fence, but it's not to secure that playground from the new building. It's to to keep the youngsters in the new building from running away during the school hours. So, and it's also, they will also have access to the green space next that's remaining on the CCIU's property as well. So as most early education type playgrounds, they have fencing just for control of the kids and make sure that they stay safe and don't run off.
Hey, Chris,
Currently,
we have
there's a
somebody at the
playground
podium.
with a fence.
Sorry. Yes, just your name,
I
I
please.
should have introduced myself earlier. My name is Joe Lubitsky. I'm the Director of Administrative Services for Intermediate Unit.
Welcome.
And I appreciate the Commissioner's consideration of this project and as well as support of projects we've done over the last several decades. I thought I could help answer that question. I think Chris did a good job. The only fencing that will be installed will be closer to the building around the playground adjacent to the actual building itself. The piece of property that is adjacent to the basketball courts on Dawkins Parks will remain unfenced, and we'll be adding some landscaping, trees, as Chris mentioned, to that also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see.
I appreciate the comments.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions on this?
We have some audience, some people in the audience.
Was there any in the Zoom world? Any hands raised? All right. Entertain a motion to, where are we here? I'm just going to say entertain a motion to approve the preliminary
Preliminary/final land development application Yep.
Perfect.
based on the motion distributed to the board on Monday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Evans. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Nay.
4-1. Motion's good. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate
Thank
the
you,
time.
Chris.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Denny, do you have any reason for me to stick around for any of these other matters? Does the board have
I
any?
don't. The other thing that I would say, November is pretty well booked for the board, but we talked about doing another evening that's just a workshop to continue status with the zoning ordinance. I could send a doodle poll out to everybody if that's easiest. So we were probably looking at December.
Not the first.
Not December 1st, it's a national holiday. Again, I can send a
is a
doodle
national
poll.
So is it gonna be before one of the regular
No,
meetings?
We
Oh,
talked
okay.
about doing just an evening,
Oh, okay.
just to kind
Yeah.
of focus on this and really plow
Sure.
through it. So I can send a doodle poll out to everybody and we can figure out a date.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kristen. Next on the agenda, we have our township engineer.
Hi, Carl Schmidt with Arrow.
Carl, welcome.
Hey, Carl.
Thank you. Good evening to all the. Oh, I'm good. Thank you. Don't get knocked out. Good evening to all the commissioners and the township members. We come before you this evening. We have several requests for your consideration. I'll start at the top of the list in your agenda. There's 4 bids that we sent out. We reviewed, identified the apparent most responsible low bidders. So we're presenting to you those 4. The first one is the culvert reconstruction for Barley Sheath. We're recommending more construction. They have a bid of $196,850. I'll go through the full list of 4 and then answer any of your questions. The second one was the Barley Sheaf swale reconstruction. Same contractor, more construction. They provided the low bid. It's noteworthy that there were 8 bids submitted for these first 3. So a good response.
Good turnout.
Yeah, good turnout. So this was the low bid of those 8, $239,800. The third one is North Bearley Road drainage improvements. That was a low bid by company KBC. They provided an estimate of 193,332. And the final bid was the South Lloyd Stream Bank Stabilization. Again, the low bidder was More Construction, and they estimated 239,110. So with those four, I'm available to answer any questions on perhaps the bid or the projects.
Commissioners, any questions?
You?
I hear a breath.
Yeah, there's,
There's
I'm
something
just trying to
behind
get
that?
a grasp of, I mean, I want to spend this money. You know, I want to get this done. I just want to make sure that we're on track to be able to still get our bridge fixed.
So if you, yeah, so if you wanted, I had pulled what our estimates were,
Yes,
and the estimates are for the North Vale, and we based the bond we floated on those estimates.
right, yeah.
So that you're aware. So the budget that we had for, North Barley Sheaf was 140,124. That came in at 196. For the Barley Sheaf Swale, it was 245,381. That came in at 239,8. For the
Can you
North,
stop there for, I'm sorry, just 1 second, so I'm confused on that one. So the North Barley Sheaf Culvert, 239, but we're approving 196, is there additional work?
it just came in higher,
No, but with the bid here says 196, 850,
correct?
but your culvert over here says 239, so where's the other, $40,000?
Okay, you have me a little lost
Two
here.
thirty-nine is the Barley Sheaf Swale.
Yeah,
There's
part-
two Barley
okay.
Sheaf.
Okay.
The first
all right.
one's culvert, second one's swale.
Well, I have on my list here, the culvert as 239.
So I just reviewed this and I apologize. I'm taking this directly from
Okay.
there was a discrepancy on this
Okay,
page.
all right, that's fine.
Okay.
Which is completely my fault.
Mhm.
I gave those to Lisa, but it's kind of been me working a little more on that. So that's my
Okay.
bad on that. But I just did the same as you did, Josh. I pulled this out and was looking and then went back into the engineer notes.
Okay.
So, 196.8, I'm just speaking in round numbers.
Yep.
And it was 140, 124 is what we had budgeted for that. The estimate for the Barley Sheaf Swale was 245, 381, and the bid came in at 239.8.
Mhm.
The North Bailey Road drainage improvements was estimated at 175, 731. It came in at 193, 332. And then the South Lloyd Avenue Stream Bank was estimated at 225 and it came in at 239. So I know the very next question, and yes, we do have enough. We had a ridiculous amount of savings on the East Fisherville Bank.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, so that will be able to
Absorb the cost.
absorb that.
increases.
Again, when we started these estimates was before diesel went through the roof, before we've had
Yep.
I don't even need to start. I mean, it's the whole world's going through this. Truthfully, I'm actually shocked these are even within these numbers. The one that I am still kind of terrified for is the two bridges and yet to be determined. We will make it happen and we will make it. And I know the question, of course, on everybody's mind, will there be another tax increase? No, there will not. We will be able to meet our obligations between the bond and the fund balance to keep this moving.
So you're gonna update this then?
Yes, we'll work to update this.
Yeah.
For you.
And then I just had asked Lisa at the bottom if we could put totals, like the whole column total,
Mhm.
if you could do that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, any other questions on these four projects? I will reach out to residents. I see Tony has his hand raised. Come on up. Into the mic.
Hi, Tony Desario, 251 Loomis Avenue,
Good
Callan.
to see you, Tony. Go ahead.
Money from the grant, or is it money from the loan that you're using?
On the
this for?
bond.
Yes.
That's
Did you get any grants for this stuff, or would you apply for any grants?
the grants that we applied for, one was for the swale project that was in the park. That was at a grant. We also
Any
received,
it's on here, I mean.
any of these four, no, but these are ones that we will, Ray, if I'm correct, we will be submitting these to FEMA once they are completed. But as we discussed, FEMA is reimbursement only. You do the project and
I
put
just
it
want to
back
know
in.
if we're going to get our money back. Thank you.
Hey, your
Get
guess
some
is
of
as
it
good
back,
as
yes.
mine.
That's what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
Yeah, for clarification, we're not promising that.
You have an every Wednesday meeting, every morning Wednesday meeting that we beg, but we'll see.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Tony.
Any residents in the Zoom world?
Was that the Tony Desario
Not at this
well
time.
project?
Yeah, it was. It was named after him.
Yeah, we gotta get the sign up there.
No hands raised? Ms.
Not at
Denny?
this time.
Commissioners, if, do we need to approve each line item, or just all together? Separate? All right, entertain a motion to award the lowest responsible bid to MOR Construction in the amount of $196,850 for the North Barley Sheaf Culvert Reconstruction Project.
So moved.
Second.
All right, moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's good, 5-0. Is that Commissioner Evans, then Commissioner Young? Denise, did you catch that?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, for consideration to award the lowest responsible bid to MR Construction in the amount of $239,800 for the Barley Sheaf Swale Reconstruction Project.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's good, 5-0. Consideration to award the lowest responsible bid to KBC Construction in the amount of $193,332 for North Bailey Road Drainage Improvement Project.
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Young. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion's good, 5-0. And last but not least, consideration to award to MRR Construction Services for the South Lloyd Avenue Stream Bank Stabilization Project in the amount of $239,110.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's good, 5-0. We have one more on the list.
Yes, we have two more for requests for your consideration. Their payment on invoices. The first one on the agenda is the second pay app request from Brightfields in the amount of $45,251.04 related to the house demolition project at 258 Horseshoe Drive. Everything's within budget. This is the second pay request. There'll be a third and final, probably next meeting, around 5% of the full budget. So everything's in line with this pay request.
Have they actually torn the house down yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay.
All
right.
Good. Did a fantastic job. It's graded, matted, seeded.
Okay. I haven't been over there to see it yet. When did they take it down? When did they take it down?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
It's happening during the golf course tour.
Oh, okay. The one I was late for.
When you're late for, then I left early for.
Right, entertain a motion for consideration of the payment on application number 2 for the Brightfields in the amount of $45,251.04 for the,
So moved.
the moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Tindaro, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's good, 5-0. And last item.
One, pay request number 1 for John DeRocco as the general contractor. This is in the amount of $134,448.35 related to the Calm Park West Bioswale project. This is pay request 1. Project is done. We're expecting his second and final pay request. We just had some retainage and some seating left over. But the project's completed and looks really good. Another one to make a visit to.
Can we officially rename this the Tony DeSario Bioswale Project?
If I buy a sign, can I put it there?
Yeah. So moved.
Entertain a motion for the payment on application number 1 for John DeRocco in the amount of $134,448.35 for the Tony DeSario Callan Park West Bioswale Project.
So moved.
So moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Very
to
good.
go.
Nothing
right.
else unless any other questions?
Do we know when the bids will be done for the bridges?
Do we have any update?
The bid specifications for Moore and Municipal are ready. The last thing we're waiting for on Municipal is the Contech is a bridge designer, and they're designing the actual span for us. They've pushed us to the top of the list to get those plans done. As soon as those plans are done, we submit them or fold them into the overall plans and we put it out to bid.
What are we talking on that?
Timeline.
A couple of weeks, hopefully, at the most.
Okay.
Yeah, we're ready to go. I'm as impatient as you are. I want to get these things out and constructed. So we're very close.
Okay.
Very close.
All right, Carl, Casey, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, John.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Next on the agenda, Township Manager, Ms. Denny, what do we have?
I'm pretty short and sweet tonight, just reminding everybody of the 2023
Take care,
budget
guys.
schedule.
Mhm.
Thank you, guys. See you. November 30th will be the official budget presentation.
Can you repeat that? I just want to make sure everybody. Mark DeYoung, he knows I'm talking about him. What day? November 30th.
30th,
Thank you.
okay?
November 30th.
Oh, we
November-
were talking about it at the golf committee meeting, and I said, hey, we're gonna make sure you know what day to come and show up for this.
Okay, so
Okay.
November 30th will be, that will be a busy night because we do have a conditional use beforehand at 6 o'clock. We'll do the budget presentation after that. I'll start the meeting. The official set adoption, if the board so chooses, will be December 22nd. That meets the statutory 20-day advertisement for it to sit for public review. So that is the biggest thing. To help you through the next item on the agenda, we still have not received an update regarding the LEDs on Lincoln Highway. I think the vendor, in all honesty, is having some issues with supply chain. We had some issues where he basically got a hold of me and said, if we don't order these today, they are going to be increasing, the price. So he, I think, is jumping through hoops with that. I don't think it's that he's not paying attention to it. I think he's trying to make sure that the ones that we have approved are ordered and that we can have them put in. So I think that's where he's been putting his emphasis, but you can skip that for this evening. It can remain tabled, and you can move on to minutes to approve.
I have one question about vendors. The group that did the Zoom room, what's going on with the permanent microphones for down there? Have we
If
heard
you can
anything?
find the boat floating somewhere outside in the Pacific, that's basically
Yeah.
where we're at.
And
Waiting to come in.
how much have we paid them of the final bill?
Barely anything. They've
Okay,
not
good.
charged us, barely anything.
Excellent.
And truly, I've looked, even just out of curiosity, I looked.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. It's something that popped into my head that I'm like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Where are those microphones?
Totally
You know,
forgot. You're on
I
top of
forget
it.
about things. You remember? And
I
Josh
think- I
remembers
think-
things I forgot 10 years ago.
Right.
We have a conditional use here.
All right, thank you, Ms. Denny. Next is minutes to approve.
We have to be here.
The
at 6.
Board of Commissioner meeting on October 13th. Commissioners, any questions, additions, corrections? I did have one. Just find it. This is in our packet, page 123. Commissioner Young noted that the township received money from My Place. I don't believe we've received money from My Place have we? Not the $1 million though.
We've received
Uh-huh.
part of that.
Okay, a portion of that.
We've
so-
received portion of it, not the entire amount.
Okay,
Because they had to pay a certain amount up front and then a certain amount with each building permit.
Yes.
okay, I didn't want that to be, yeah, their total capital open space money is around 1 million. I just didn't want that to be understood as we've already received 1 million.
Good
so-
call. Definitely.
Hey, thanks. I actually read this stuff. It's
I just
amazing.
rewrite it.
Yeah, you just send in your notes. Okay, commissioners, any other questions on the minutes? If not,
No.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Evans. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Minutes have been approved, 5-0. Acknowledgement of the receipt of Planning Commission meeting minutes from September 20th.
I received them. I just noticed something today, that, when it has who was in attendance, it doesn't have me as the alternate liaison. So if that could be added, that'd be great. Because I was on the record. I commented. I need things. I said stuff. So.
Okay.
I normally don't.
I'll send myself an email.
I'm sorry, Ray. I didn't know it was you.
Well, it's Elizabeth, so it's me.
Oh, Elizabeth's great. She is great.
Entertain a motion to acknowledge receipt.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion's good, 5-0. Moving on, we have the Finance Department. Ms. Swan, how are you
Hello,
tonight?
I'm doing great. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time
Evening.
of the day it is.
All blends together.
Short and sweet as well. Our tax revenues are just about 100% collected. The total revenue for the general fund is at about 94%, so very healthy status, especially at the 10-month mark for the year. Expenses are at 75%. The township's doing a great job. The directors are doing a phenomenal job scrutinizing every penny. So that's nice to see, and we can carry that forward into the coming years as well. So we're in a healthy position that way. Last thing on my list is phase 1 of our payroll transition is completed as of Tuesday. Is a painstaking job. I want to thank my finance department and especially my assistant Jennifer Schwed, who put in over 200 hours in doing this transition.
Go,
But
Jennifer.
everybody got paid, so that was supposed to. So that's a feather in our cap there. We will start phase 2 probably midway through November and train all of the directors and employees on how to do time management electronically. So that should be an exciting thing. And that's all I have on the financial front.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions on that? All right. If not, we can move on to the director's reports. This is the meat and potatoes of our meeting.
We have to approve the check.
Oh,
Yeah, we have
okay.
the checks.
Entertain a motion to approve the checks.
So moved.
Right. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
And that was check run 49,046 to 49,127 with a manual check, just one of number 283. All right, now we'll get to the meat and potatoes.
Lisa, one question for Lisa before she
Yes.
leaves. What number is the golf course in the black right now? What's the figure? Is it $75,000?
That's
It's
our
right here.
anticipated
We just
end
got
of
it.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, so
All
it's
right,
just the
right now
end of
16.
year.
Yeah, 16,000
Somebody just
in the
gave
black.
us
In the,
this. Oh, here
Well,
it
I
is.
have what Lisa
The
sent
golf
me
course fund.
the other day. Hold on one
I'm
second.
still hoping for 75. That was my.
we're gonna hit 75.
We're hoping.
Yeah, I can tell you
This is
I
the
asked
golf
Lisa
fund
this
budget.
on Monday,
All the
I
way
think.
back
Yeah, we were at 16. I think we were at
to- it goes all the way
32
back to
32?
No,
on Monday.
Oh, really?
23rd.
Pray for this beautiful
17th.
weather to continue.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mhm.
going to.
Yeah.
too.
It's happening.
There it is.
Here's the
So
date.
43,103
43.
as of Monday.
Wow. Excellent.
And revenue versus expenses is 218,866 over expenses for the year so far.
Wow.
That's good.
That's the way to do it.
I did see a hand raised. Was that Mark DeYoung?
Yes.
Mark, you're debt averse.
Yes,
So
Mark.
I expect this to be a positive note.
Of course I am, and I really want to pass out congratulations to both Chris and JT for all they've done over the last 3 years. To pay off over $500,000, over $600,000 in debt in 3 years is astounding. So appreciate what they did, appreciate the support we got from the board, and I think years to come, we keep going and following the plan that we're doing, we will turn a profit every year and turn money back to the township.
Yes.
There you go.
Excellent.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Start, police chief.
Evening, everyone.
Evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Chief.
Unfortunately, I'm back tonight to talk about more issues at the school, which for a little over a week, it seemed we put to bed. But at 6:53 a.m. today, there was another safe to say message regarding an active shooter threat at Cache. The shooting was to start at 7:10 a.m. At that point, school buses were just arriving and had to be turned around, and any walkers or drop-offs were immediately dismissed. Classes and events were canceled again for the day. In most cases, the decisions to lock down, evacuate, or cancel classes have to be made in minutes without the gift of hindsight. The administration and all of the entities involved in making those decisions have come under some criticism in recent weeks. We know the disruptions are creating hardships, but when the tips are received, we don't know from who or where they're coming from. 2 weeks ago in Illinois, a teacher was arrested for sharing with a student that she had a kill list for other students and staff. How sad is that, right? Unfortunately, some have taken full advantage of the Safe to Say platform, a great tool intended to prevent school violence, and that is really unfortunate. Today marked the 15th Safe to Say notification of school violence at Cache in the past month, and as we all know, all 15 of them turned out to be nothing, fortunately. The program is built on the condition of anonymity. Safe to Say platform can conduct a thorough threat assessment and assign a threat probability that would help decision makers, because the tip information is generally vague at best, and attempts by the Safe to Say Crisis Center to gather additional information are almost always unsuccessful. So while our gut tells us that these tips are bogus, in good conscience, we can't send students and staff potentially into harm's way. Early last week, we charged a 17-year-old Cache student, and for about a week, it put an end to the madness until today. Even though the tip line is anonymous, we do have ways to identify the responsible party in certain instances, and that occurred last week, resulting in an arrest. We will continue to use every resource at our disposal to identify and arrest anyone who continues to create fear and wreak havoc at the school. We're planning a meeting with all of the agencies involved and the State Attorney General's office to try to triage the problem. We're also trying to make a difference through police-student mentoring sessions to gain and build trust. In many instances, the best sources of intel is the students. We had 2 sessions scheduled this week. And to support a nervous staff and student body, the school district is reimbursing our police departments overtime to have officers assigned to the campus during the school day. And as long as these threats continue, manpower permitting, that will continue. Wish I had better news to report, but that's just the reality of what we've been dealing with down there for the last month. So I'll be happy to answer any questions or anything in the monthly report that you all have.
Commissioners, any questions before I reach out?
No, I just don't know how you're holding up through all of this. You and your staff.
I think it also, you know, there was one incident at the stadium But the fact that these kids have endured this and still come to school, still want to learn, is commendable. And for whoever's doing this,
Right.
you know, you are taking away other people's life experiences. You know, these kids miss homecoming game, they've missed football games, they've missed class time, they've missed, you know, some of these kids, most of them will be college bound, and they may not be completely ready because, you know, they've spent 15 days in a stadium or at home or in lockdown, or, you know, you're taking away people's life experiences as well as their chance at, you know, success. So I hope whoever does it, we find them and punish them as much as we can, to the fullest extent of the law.
Do you know if, I'm sorry.
No, no.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to ask this, but was the 17-year-old was charged with felonies? Will he be charged as a, or he or she be charged as an adult?
Charged as a juvenile. The day we arrested him was one day before his 18th birthday.
Couldn't wait a day. Yes.
He's been through the system.
Yeah.
Through the juvenile justice system.
Yeah.
A regular at the high school when it comes to suspensions and expulsions. Every time we're down there, we look at these kids' faces and just the look of despair on it. Like, again?
Really?
I just, we'll see how much success we have when we meet with the state attorney general's office, because they created the platform. They morphed the old suicide hotline into the Safe to Say platform. And I would just like the message to some of these students who intend on abusing it, that Safe to Say isn't safe if you're going to abuse it.
Yeah.
There are still multiple active investigations, including the situation today, and I'm pretty confident that last week is not the only arrest that you're going to see in the coming days.
Chief, I just wanted to say on a good note that we had an appreciation breakfast a couple of weeks ago, and it was our intent to honor and celebrate the great work that first responders, police officers, and others do in our community. And I was proud to have an attendance and to share in the event with Sergeant Miller and the Secretary Tracy Laws from the department, you know, to be there and to celebrate and to be honored and respected for the putting their lives out on the line for our community and for all that they do. And it was a great response. And it's an annual thing that we do at our place of worship, and just to take the time to have an appreciation, to show appreciation was a beautiful event, and, you know, well deserved. So thank you to the force and for everyone that attended. It was well received.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good feedback, and the support is very
it was
appreciated,
great.
considering
What you go
some of the
through.
issues
Oof.
that we've talked about that the profession has been dealing with, particularly the last few years.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah.
Thank
I-
you, Chief.
All right, thanks.
We did have one question in the audience. Alicia, do you want to come up here? But use the mic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
just,
the Zoom people.
thank you.
Hello, it's Leisha Carini again. I was just curious about any national trends like this that we're seeing with the school threats.
Good question.
Yeah, good question. So we actually have the FBI involved.
I wouldn't
The
be me.
Newtown Square office actually reached out to us the day that the building was evacuated and we had the fight in the stadium. So all of the Safe to Say messages that we've been receiving is going to the FBI's behavioral analysis unit to see if that could possibly assist in identifying, you know, should we be looking at adults? Should we be looking at a child, you know, student?
An administrator, somebody.
They're the experts. So that's been a big help. And the agent that we're working with actually has reached out to school departments throughout the country who are dealing with similar issues. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it
Yeah,
is.
it is.
It is.
Yeah, we're not the only ones.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. No,
It
I mean,
does
it's the sheer volume of incidents, 15 in 30 days
That's
is a
ridiculous.
lot, as there's about 500 school districts in Pennsylvania. And unfortunately, this one, safe to say, has received more threats from this school district than any other school district in the state. And we know from having investigated them that they've all been bogus, and which is like, you
And
don't
they
want a
vote
threat to
fear.
happen, right?
It's
I
a
mean,
fear factor.
in a way, you're good that but it's created so much disruption
Just a fear.
at that campus, and we have to
Oh,
find
yeah,
out a way to
I don't know.
stop it from continuing. I don't want to go through, nor does anyone else, any parent, any student. You don't want to hear me talk about this every month.
Every week.
Like, we just want to put an end to it. So that's what we're working toward. Thanks for the question. Good question.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
It's going on. It's in New Jersey. I just read about it in,
Oh.
I think Cherry Hill and Voorhees last week. And it is a nationwide problem. We've got this school district, this great school, with a bad rap.
Yeah.
It's underfunded. It can't keep its teachers because it's underfunded. And then it has to deal with this. And and the parents, it's so sad. I'll shut up.
All right, next director, we have the Fire Department Chief, Chief Taylor.
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll start with a little bit of somber, and then go into the lighter stuff. While it's not in this past month's report, and it's actually been kind of happening on October, we've been kind of dealing with some tragic motor vehicle accidents and different things like that this month, in October particularly. So crew's been very busy, spending very many hours, not only on the 30 bypass, business 30, things like that. So I really want to give kudos to my crew for giving up 4-5 hours overnight, going to work the next day, things like that, and dealing with what they need to as well. But I'll now get into the lighter stuff. Enough of the somber. Unfortunately, we have to deal with it, but we held our fire prevention open house on October the 12th. It was very well attended, and it's been a very, very busy month for fire prevention. I believe when I put this report together, I put that we've kind of educated over 600 students and faculty members. We still had some sessions. I think that total is now upwards of 1,000 students and faculty. So I really give our public education officer, Kim Matson, a lot of kudos for a busy month of October and September, and there's still some more happening, but that's a lot of effort that she puts in, and definitely prides herself with the education that she provides. So in addition, we like I said, we still have more of the fire prevention to go, but for the bulk is done. The other item I want to call out, we did apply through the PA American Water a small grant that we used to purchase some new equipment that is well overdue. It's every bit of 25 years old. So it was nice to receive. While it was a small grant of $500, it goes a long way to replace some very, very old equipment that, while it plays a minuscule role, it is still important for our company and for our apparatus. So I do want to call that out. And anybody has any questions? That's all I have.
Commissioners, any questions?
Just thank you and
Thank you
your
very much.
volunteers. I mean, it's having to deal the emotional impact of having to deal with fatal car accidents.
Yeah, that's
Is
I can't imagine what Chief Elias and his staff are going through. I mean, it's kind of once in a while for us. I mean, it's been nonstop for their department. Unfortunately, go from one location, then I have to, not that I don't want to see them, but better circumstances, obviously. But going to the next incident, we're working together on that. So,
thank you for all you do. Really.
Yeah,
With,
it was
with
a
the
great-
increase in
Thank you
the
very much.
with the increase in the accidents, are you finding it's a certain telltale that that's causing them?
I think it's kind of normal. I mean, this time of year you get, and Chief Elias, I'm sure, could speak to it more, but a lot of this time of years, you have more accidents involving deer with the rut season and things like that. Not to mention all the leaves are falling, so the roadways are getting slick and things like that with the leaves falling. So I can't say it's any particular one thing, whether, I mean, I don't recall any of them being DUI related or anything like that, which is a positive note, but yeah, so
Okay.
unfortunately, yeah, nothing that jumps out in that regard.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next we have Building and Life Safety, Mr. Stackhouse.
Thank you, Commissioners. Just a couple of highlights. From a residential perspective, my place that we've talked about before, they'll actually start framing some of their townhomes probably within the next couple weeks. So that development is quickly moving along. We did issue the apartment building plans came in and they're in review, and they'll probably start soon afterwards. So again, if you haven't been up there, it's worth taking a ride. We did receive a new commercial project, 100 Rock Raymond Road, Ducklings Early Learning Center. It'll be a conditional use and then land development. That's the last parcel behind Taco Bell in the Royal Farms. So you'll see that here soon. From a stormwater Storm Ida project perspective, the electrical work, as you know, the pump house was damaged and destroyed. Part of the electrical work from that went to that building also took care of other stuff on the golf course. We did get approval from insurance to have that work done. That work's already been done and the electric's been restored to that. As far as the building, we did get the go ahead from insurance to move forward, even though that's also a potential FEMA project. So I'm currently working with Arrow on a design to probably demo that building and do a hot box to contain the actual pump equipment. So we're working on that design right now. East Fisherville Road Bridge, that project's actually pretty much done. There's some punch list items, so I don't know if anybody's been over there, but the work actually looks really good compared to what it was like before. And under stormwater, there's 3 projects that the Public Works crews will hopefully complete before the end of this year, additional projects. One of those is in Downing Ridge, replacing a set of pipes in one section in Downing Ridge that is collapsing one of the driveways there. We've already ordered most of the materials for that, waiting for the rest to come in. The other one is in Barley Greens on North Barley Sheaf Road. That's an inlet and part of a pipe that has collapsed as well. And then the last one is at 50 James Buchanan. Again, some drainage area and a parking driveway, 2 driveways that go into that commercial building. And lastly, the chipping program, we just completed a couple of stragglers, and the leaf vac program, we pretty much finished up this week.
Aren't leaves still falling?
Yes, they are.
Okay. My whole backyard.
Well, we're not completely finished, but we started the bulk of it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like the chipping program, we try to set a parameter, get that done. There's always a couple stragglers, but if we don't get a jump on the bulk of it, then we just never would get that finished.
With the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say my maple trees don't drop their leaves till December, so.
With the 50 James Buchanan, I zoned out. Did you just say you're replacing pipes in there?
Yeah, so at 50 James Buchanan, we've been doing some work along James Buchanan for the last couple months.
Yeah.
We completed part of the project. The next one is right at 50 James Buchanan. Both of those driveways, there's a culvert underneath there, and then that drainage area. That's all within our right of way. That's our responsibility. So we had Arrow develop an emergency DEP permit for us, some ENS controls. We're now working on getting the holdup is actually the pipe that has to go in there. We're replacing metal pipe with squash concrete pipe. and doing end walls so that that actually doesn't erode away again.
Fantastic. I worked in that building 3 years ago, and there were summer storms where I was almost up to my knees in water going to my car at the end of the day. So, I mean, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
So,
Does the Amtrak outfall follow that? Is that where most of the water comes from? Is the Amtrak there?
I don't know if I could answer that. Yeah, no, it does. Actually, yeah, and I mean, like a lot of our drainage, you know, the water comes from the hill above, comes through Amtrak's pipes underneath PennDOT's road, and we clean it up.
Yeah,
I've already been sued by Amtrak once. So.
And yeah,
Doesn't
I
scare
made
me.
a mistake of stepping in that when I took this department on as well, and I don't think I'll do that again.
Did you ever hear that they issued a warrant for the vice president of Amtrak because he didn't show up at the judge's office or judge's court?
Yeah.
Yeah. We quickly were named in a lawsuit, and that was quickly withdrawn.
All right, commissioners, any other questions on that?
can you just confirm with me that it's in 6, right? Phillies in 6?
Phillies in 6, I hope.
Sounds good to me.
All right, last but not least, Ingleside Golf Manager, Mr. Ward. Chris, how are you?
I'll just go over the numbers first for September. Rounds this September were 2769 compared to 2597 in 2021. Revenue in 2022 September was 94,873 compared to 85,129 last September. So that's about 11%, almost 10,000 more. Year to date, we stand at 764,799 compared to last year of 719,382. About 45 up or 6%. That's the numbers for this year. The other thing we had on the agenda tonight was request for approval for the 2 mowers that we've been talking about, the Lastec mower, rough mower, and the John Deere Greens mower. Before we go into numbers of them, the delivery time on them now is 12 to 18 months. So we're really talking about 2024. I mean, maybe we get a couple of payments in 2023, but it won't be much, you know, at best. The Lastec now is 56,810, and the John Deere Greens is 53,892. So a total of 110,702. We got financing through them, which we usually can do better, but we figured we get the numbers for them. So we would pay over on a 3-year lease, $3,380 a month for 12 months, come out to about $40,000 for the year. And like I said, we've done in the past and gotten better rates and numbers than they do. So that would be worst case scenario. But that financing wouldn't need to be done until the mowers were delivered. So we're 12 to 18 months out before we'd even make a payment or even start to look at, you know, that kind of stuff. So who knows how it changes by then. But that's where we are with them. I mean, we're a ways off for them.
Is it worth?
But still requesting to order them now.
Right,
or
from order date to,
2023,
right.
So that.
In waiting, we're not going to get a better deal. I mean, if we wait until the beginning of next year to order it, because we're still 12, 18 months out. But I mean,
It would
honestly,
still
do you
be
think
12 to 18 months out from that.
Right,
You're
from that,
pushing
okay.
And
we're
it seems
just-
like the prices are only going higher, and
Okay.
wait times are only getting longer too. This used to be 8 months on these.
Okay, and I know we had budgeted for it. It's,
Right, we
it's
had
a little bit of
budgeted,
an
yeah.
increase.
One thing we'll have to do is the mower that we do have, the Lastec mower, especially the rough mower, we'll have to put a little bit more into that since that's going to be the only mower next year to make it a little bit more reliable for next year. We were going to put some into it, but now we're going to have to probably do it up a little bit better to make sure that it's in shape for the whole year, since it's going to be our only mower that we have for that.
Okay, and since we're not paying for the motors until they're delivered, we're not going to see that expense until 2024.
That's our.
Yeah, maybe late 2023, yeah, 12 months out,
For
November.
a couple
December.
payments in 2023, which
Yeah.
is not really the budget that we'd set up. So the money in the budget could actually go towards fixing up what you have.
Right, some of that, and that won't be anywhere near close to that, so we
Yeah.
have that extra, you know. We're talking, you know, it's hard to estimate without them seeing the mower, what we
Mhm.
have. We were gonna have to put some into it anyway, because we weren't gonna get rid of it, we were still gonna use it, we just need to make it a little bit more reliable, you know, since it will be a standalone mower that has to make it through the year. 5 to 10,000 maybe to get it running. I mean, it's hard to estimate without them really looking it over and seeing what's. I mean, it runs now. It just has some issues that need to be addressed to make it
Okay.
more
Yeah,
reliable.
get you through the year. Commissioners, any questions on this?
You say that it'd be 3380 a month for the lease? We're leasing these or we're buying?
Well, it's a lease to buy at the end.
Okay.
From John Deere when we do
Gotcha.
it.
Gotcha.
If we do our own financing, we just pay John Deere and we're clear with them.
Perfect.
And then we deal with that. But yeah, it's a lease to buy at the end.
Gotcha.
For when
And
we
you're
do
only
it.
paying for 3 years, but with the life of the vehicle or the mower is about 10?
10 for the greens mower, 6 to 8 with the rough mower.
So it's more an investment at that
Excellent.
point.
In the beginning, when we first started this, we used to use John Deere and they used Wells Fargo, and then we started going with our own financing. We've found better deals with our own
We can get a
financing
better
than
deal.
using Wells Fargo and theirs.
Okay. I think they're much needed mowers.
Yeah, it's providing a little issue being so far, having to wait so long to have a line before they come in, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and I apologize. I didn't read that part where the prices were only good till October, 15th? So,
Do we need just consensus or do we need a motion?
Ms. Denny, do we need a consensus or motion to
I would
approve?
have a motion.
Motion? All right, entertain a motion. You have the cost, so we all
Yeah, it was.
kind of know what the costs are, but entertain a motion to approve, it's,
The Lastec rough mower, 56,810, 56,010.
and the other one?
And the John Deere greens mower, 53,892.
Total of 110,702.
There you go. The last deck was 56,810, and the John Deere Precision Cut Triplex mower. Wow, pretty high tech.
Wow.
For 53,892 and 89 cents, a total of 110,702 and 89 cents. Entertain a motion to approve.
Moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy. Excuse me. Second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion's good. 5-0.
Thank you.
Place the order, and hopefully they come out sooner.
Yeah, maybe we get lucky, but that's all I have. If there are any other questions, I can answer them.
Nope. You had a question on the golf course? All right, come on up to the mic, please. And it was Anthony? Thomas. I don't know why I keep calling you Anthony, and I apologize.
That's okay. I could be in. Brandywine Homes again. On the golf course, on those mowers that you're leased on, what's the warranty?
They usually come with a 1-year warranty on 3-year warranties on the engines, 1-year warranty on other parts.
That's a lot of money for that cheap of a warranty. Is that something you can buy into? Like you can do with a car?
Never asked him about that.
But Chris, are they included in your maintenance program or I know the golf carts have the maintenance thing that we buy.
No, we do that one. They don't have.
Okay.
So if something was to happen to them,
But you try to fix most of the stuff on site yourself.
Very rarely do we have to have something. Sometimes we'll have a tech come out and help us. But we do that once a year. We didn't send anything out during the year. Now in the wintertime we do because we don't have grinding. So grinding the wheels. We don't have the lifts to get them up. So we do them in the wintertime. During the season, most times we're able to do it.
All right, so checking into like a warranty extension or something.
I could check the answer to that.
And the other thing is, we're talking about basically band-aiding the old mower.
It's running right now. It just needs some. If we were going to use it as a backup,
Understand.
so you wouldn't have to put quite as much into it. Yeah, but now that it's going to be a reliable mower, we're going to have to try to fix it up so where it's more reliable.
See, that's the thing I have an issue with. If you're gonna fix it, fix it.
But that's what it is. That's where we're at.
Not just to be more reliable. Just if you're gonna fix it, fix it.
Yeah.
So that like 6 months from now, we don't hear this happen and we have to get it fixed.
What we're talking about when it was a backup was some things that we've done before, like
Mhm.
we're don't worry about fix that part. You know, something that.
Yeah, if it's usable as a backup in the future, that's what we're hoping.
But it's gonna be primary now. It's gonna be primary. So.
Mhm.
All right. I have other questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Chris. On to additional business. Denny, we have acceptance of a resignation from Officer Sandeep Claire effective October 19th, 2022. Commissioners, have we all read the memo?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions on this?
No.
No? Entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Officer Sandeep.
So moved.
So moved. And second, hi Sam. Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Alright, good, 5-0. And next, we have a discussion about certified local government historic preservation.
I would like to say, let's table this. It's something we definitely want to have going in the new year. Looking into going in the new year.
Mhm.
Benefits the township. But it's getting.
I was waiting for your information. You said you were gonna send
Well,
it
I
to
could
me.
have Tom, I could have Tom Parr hop on right now and talk about it, but it's late.
Okay, all right. Well, let's put that on the agenda. What,
Next, put on next
Well,
meeting, I'll just do
the
a little.
17th, I'm not here, but you guys can, more
There you
than
go.
welcome to
Put it
discuss.
on.
Okay, any other additional business? All right, public comment. We do have a couple folks here. Yes, Thomas, how are
How
you?
doing? Thomas Walker, Randy Homes. I'd like to address Mr. Stackhouse, actually to set up a meeting, but one question is the creek that runs behind the grocery outlet. Who's responsible for that? Because we're fenced off, and the creek is on the gentleman's side that owns it. So is he responsible for that creek?
That's a good question. He's responsible for everything around the creek.
Because back in late May, early June, I pulled several shopping carts. There's a mattress in the creek. Behind 2 Fox Avenue, there's an actual dam of debris. And occasionally I can't do it now because my foot, but I'd go there and I'd pull at least one side to make water flow. But there was a tree that was cut down leaning on other trees. That's collapsed and collapsed the fence right at that dam to make it worse. So we're looking at the water problem again. I've talked to the neighborhood kids that play in the creek about putting the shopping carts in the creek. Some of the residents throw pallets in so they can cross because it's not safe to walk on County Road, even, to go to the stores. But I also have this storm drain runs underneath my yard. And my house is downhill from everything in Brandywine Homes. Everything comes my way. And that creek gets backed up and it backs up into the storm drain. And it's leaving a lot of silt. I mean, as far as the carts and things go, if we could talk to that gentleman while, he's building Dunkin' Donuts. Maybe if they could put a smaller fence, perimeter fence, on their property at the back of the lot like they did around the dumpsters. If they could put a fence there so people can't push the carts past, they can't get them past the fence to blockade it, or, there's always going to be one or two that can beat the system, but I mean, it's just carts are the main block, and then there's people, there's garbage bags and things that are up in that damn area. And all that stuff does not fit under the Callan Road. I've been there most of my life through all the flooding, all the storms, and I lost my recycling can during a big storm in June a few years ago. And I walked the other side of Callan Road all the way down into Lloyd Avenue and everything looking for it. And I broke up some dams there too, where stuff was built up or whatever. But I'd just like to know who policed that because, even if they did a 25% improvement, they had somebody go around every day to make sure there was no carts back there.
So the answer to that is they have a notice of violation. They have until the second week of November to clear it up. And if they don't, we'll start issuing citations and then we'll stay on top of them from there. They've had citations. I've been to court with them multiple times in the past. So all we can do is continue to try and stay on top of them.
I'm not blaming you at all. I appreciate that.
I appreciate what you're saying. As far as the stream in general, as far as the drainage, one of the projects the township is working on is stormwater planning. And that planning is getting all of our drainage areas so that we can actually deal with it in a systematic manner. Because some of that wouldn't just be the property owner. The trash and all that is definitely on the property owner and will stay on them. But the systematic assuring that that's cleaned out and there's free flow of water is some of that is definitely a township responsibility. And we are actively working on that plan.
Okay.
Hey, Thomas, I got a question for you. Were you at the original meeting about the shopping center? Because I remember we were
Dunkin' Donuts
discussing
when he was
the Dunkin'
variance
Donuts,
meeting,
because
yeah.
you had brought up about the carts being thrown in the back area by your house.
Well, not only that, but his runoff water for the Dunkin' Donuts, and I still don't agree with that because it's still going to dump to the creek.
But I'm just shocked that we're still dealing with the shopping carts.
I've been here 18 years and I've probably been in court with him. I can't tell you how many times.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he just recently purchased that he bought that shopping center off of somebody else, probably within the last eight years or so. Or less.
Ultimately, he's always been part of the ownership of it.
That wasn't. Because he had just told me it was his retirement thing he just got into. So, but yeah, I just, because that water all goes into that FEMA floodplain.
No, I appreciate you saying something for sure.
And then,
rest assured, we're trying to stay on top of it.
Yeah, because right where he's building the Dunkin' Donuts and the A-Mark, like I said, if you look at the Chester County geographical map and you look up sinkholes, there's sinkholes there. So, I mean, they all tie together at some point when there's enough pressure in water. The other thing was kind of what the chief was talking about with the school districts. This is just my personal experience and view with the society and what things are going on now. I don't think people are teaching their generation how to cope, have a coping mechanism. I have 3 sons. I raised 2, the youngest and the oldest. The middle child was outside my marriage. I did not raise him. My 2 graduated with honors from Coastal High School. They were in the Honor Society. They both got scholarships to schools. They both graduated college and they're both out working. Okay. The one I didn't raise, who I constantly told his mother to stop babying him. I didn't use those terms, but he spent 8 years in jail. But not even 2 years after he graduated. And I had a meeting in middle school. I never got invited to another one, but counselors, his stepfather, his mother, everybody's there, principal, assistant principal. And they're going around the table talking about things or whatever. And he finally got to me. And I said, when are you going to deal with the problem? I said, he's the problem. I don't see anybody else's child in here. I'm not hearing about anybody else's child doing this. I said, when are you going to deal with the problem? And as he does, he just never learned a coping mechanism. And in this, unfortunately, it trickles over to this social media and everything else. If with you talking, the police talking with, the students having their meetings and stuff, or, maybe you could suggest to the counselors or whatever, if they could get maybe mini programs or something during their semester or however they work it now, where they just go over things with kids. Look, if this happens, deal with it. Because you know what? Once you're 18, you're an adult. You're out there. And if you can't deal with life, that's what you're supposed to be prepared for. When you leave your parents' house and you leave the school systems, you're supposed to be able to deal with life. And I think if you try to get some more of the teachers and them on board, and like, unfortunately, they have to start trying, changing, the way they teach and what they teach. A lot of positive reinforcement, as long as it's warranted. But like I said, personally, my kids are the only kids in my family that have graduated college. Other kids, my nieces and nephews, they're in jail or, kid burden, a regular 9 to 5 or so. But, I believe what you put into it is what you get out.
It all starts at home.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I had to say. Sorry.
Thank you.
Didn't mean to
Thank
hold
you.
up, Paul.
Good to have you. Tom.
Appreciate it.
I still got to talk to you, Mr. Stackhouse. we got to take a trip.
All right. Any other public comment here in the township building? If not, that's for the Zoom world. Sure.
Thomas Walker. What is going on with 15 Fox?
Nothing.
Okay. They are taking good care of the property. The guy mowed it again today. As far as that goes, I don't bother to park there anymore. I don't pick trash up over there anymore. I leave. I do have the phone number for the gentleman that's in charge of the ground. Because we talked at length one day because he was towing my neighbor's car. But I just wish they'd give you the property. I told that guy too. I said, man, take guy rate this off. Give it to the township. So, all right, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And just a quick note, we've had up to 7 attendants on Zoom.
Yes.
Excuse me, for this evening. All right, if we.
So moved.
Second.
I moved in second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.